Welcome to tacosandgeeks.com. Justin here, and today we're back with more essential anime. This is episode 3. And today I wanted to talk about a manga that I fell in love with just from capturing just the essence of zombie apocalypse, human stories, and I just really love this manga. And it's called I Am a Hero. And just a little bit of a backstory of how I was introduced to the manga. I was at Barnes and Nobles one day a couple of years back, and of course, I'm looking for something new to read. And the cover captivated me. And that's all I always say. I know some people say don't judge a book by its cover, but when it comes to manga and comics, I really feel like the cover kind of sets the tone, and the cover is important because it really shows not only the artist's art style, but it kind of shows you the aesthetic and tone of hopefully what your manga or comic is going to be about. And I Am Heroes cover really just captured that for me. And I just fell in love with it the minute I picked up the book and obviously skimmed through it just to see what the story was about. And it was about zombies. And I said, you know what? Let me pick this up. And now I'm going to tell you why I feel like this should be in your collection. So let's get into, without further ado, Essential Manga. I Am a Hero is written and illustrated by Kengo Hanazawa. And what I really liked about this manga is not just the fact that it's in the zombie apocalypse. We've seen a whole bunch of mangas, hell, we've seen a bunch of comics as well that tackle the zombie apocalypse. Why I feel this is essential manga for every fan is because this one has a really gripping narrative, has some complex characters to its commentary on society and on the human conditioning. It's a zombie apocalypse, so yes, you do get your action, you do get your gore, but what I like about I Am Hero, it dives more deeper into the psychological impact of a world overrun by the undead. How does the world deal with it? How do people deal with it? Our protagonist is Hideo Suzuki, and he's not your typical hero. He's a struggling manga artist. He has some really deep seated insecurities. He has paranoia, delusions, and this is all before the outbreak actually begins. The focus on Hideo's mental state really added that layer of complexity to the narrative. Here you have someone who's truthfully dealing with some mental health issues. I mean, delusions and paranoia, and then you add something like the zombie apocalypse into it. How does someone who has those type of issues deal with that? His transformation from being this self-doubting individual to someone who really takes the ball and runs with it and makes decisions and decisive actions is very realistic in terms of character growth. And it really has a deeply flawed, mentally unstable character for our main protagonist that many people can pick up and go, you know what, in this particular situation, I will act like this. Or in this particular situation, I will react like this. And I like the fact that Hideo's journey is not just all about, oh my gosh, this is zombie apocalypse. He's really still dealing with his own insecurities, his own battle with mental health. Like I said, he's dealing with paranoia, he's dealing with delusions. And when you add an element of this end of the world type of mentality, an end of the world scenario here, how do you really deal with that? How does one really go about it? And especially when you have to work with others, and especially when you have to deal with other survivors and what they're going through, it puts such a weight on him. But that's where I Am Hero shines, is that character journey where he starts off kind of as a stagnant character to something much more, to somebody who really encapsulates what it means to basically be a hero. That's one thing we really loved about Hideo, is the fact of that character growth, that character progression. But what also makes this an essential manga is not just the compelling characters, it's not just the story, it's the amazing visuals in this, because the artwork alone really brings it out. Like I said, when I was shopping at Barnes and Nobles and I was looking for a new manga to read, the art style, the aesthetics, it was such visually and visceral really capturing this post-apocalyptic world that I had to pick it up. And I just really love the art style of this. And I thought it was just very important to add to the story. Speaking of art style, Kengo Hanazawa's art is absolutely amazing. I love manga that has realistic illustrations like this. It's really attention to detail makes it so visually stunning and appealing and very unsettling, especially when we're dealing with a post-apocalyptic world of I Am a Hero. Is really a detail that really sets the tone. It really helps us to really get immersed, especially when he uses the wide panels to give more attention to detail to really illustrate the chaotic world that Hideo is living in. And not to mention the way he does zombies is really cool as well, because the zombies, which I haven't really talked about, they're not just those mindless zombies that we've all know and love. These ones retain some human traits, what makes it even worse. The fact that they have a little bit left of humanity in them, and they're still, it makes killing them, I would say, even more heartbreaking, and their deaths more heartbreaking too, because okay, part of this creature is still human. There's still a little bit of quality within them that they're retaining. And not to mention, some of the designs are really disgusting, but it's familiar from what you see from zombies. And I really like that element of it. And I thought that the artwork really captures that. The realistic style, the realistic facial expressions really hit home, especially in those moments where Hideo is dealing with those insecurities, dealing with those self-doubts, that delusions, those paranoias. You see the fear in his eyes, you see it in the facial expressions. It does such a great job of that. But what really excels here is the commentary that this book provides. So let's dive a little bit deeper into that. I Am a Hero captures so many themes, so many commentaries on the human condition and things that people go through. And someone like Hideo, who we have already established is paranoid, he's very self loathing, he is a struggling manga artist. So you put all that stuff before the zombie apocalypse, all those insecurities, and you thrust somebody who's dealing with those type of insecurities and mental health issues, and you put him in a zombie apocalypse, and you have one hell of a story. And what I really did love that Kengo Hanazawa was able to do was to capture that and be realistic about it. Nothing about those themes that Hideo goes through is something that is really over exaggerated. He kept it realistic, and that's one thing I really loved about this theme. And let's go a little bit more deeper into alienation and isolation. Is one of the main overarching story points and themes that our protagonist Hideo really goes through. Let's just to recap it once more. Let's really look at Hideo here. He's 35 years old. He's a manga assistant. He is disconnected from the world and people around him. He is in the dream industry that he wants to be as a manga, in manga, but he is not living the dream that he saw himself. He's stuck in this really dead-end job. He's living in a cramped apartment, and he deals with paranoia. He has the inability to have any form of connection, and that includes his girlfriend. The fact that he even has a girlfriend is absolutely amazing. Anyway, so you throw someone like that into the zombie apocalypse, which is basically the ultimate form of isolation, because now the world is descending into chaos. Then you have characters that are going to be forced to be in survival mode, really furthering the disconnection of the world that they once knew. And Hanazawa does a really good job of exploring how isolation and alienation can strip away your humanity there. And you see that with the other people around Hideo and characters that Hideo encounters. But Hideo struggles with identity, and that's another theme that was really heavy on I Am a Hero. Throughout the manga, he is really dealing with a sense of self-worth. He views himself as a failure. He says, that his career is not where it wants to be, and his personal life is not where it wanted to be. So let's really look at it from a slice of life perspective. And this is another reason why I was so drawn to it, is that slice of life element in here. Hideo is 35 years old. And I don't care who you are, how strong you are, especially when you're my age. I'm 38. I will be 38 at the time of this recording, 37 now. We all deal with this particular sense of self-worth. And I always call it the insecurity of purpose. That's what I call it. We all, every single one of us, every adult, no matter how successful you are, there's always that feeling that, yeah, where I'm at right now, I can be greater than what I am. Every single one of us deals with this. Every single one of us goes through it. And for Hideo, he has a bigger problem because of his mental health. That self-esteem that is so low turns into hallucinations where there's imaginary people that are belittling him. So imagine you in a zombie apocalypse, you're already depressed, you're dealing with depression, you're dealing with paranoia, and then you have an issue of hallucinations where you literally see people mocking you. That does not fare well for someone in the zombie apocalypse. So it changes his perception on reality. And one thing I love that Kengo Hanazawa did and throughout the book is you see that the transformation of him is not just straight to the point, but he blurs the lines between what is reality and what is delusion. So at times you're questioning of, did this really happen, or is this one of Hideo's hallucinations that's coming into play? And that is something that makes this really stand out from other zombie apocalypse books, is our main character Hideo. He is dealing with this delusion, and he has to kind of separate what is reality and what is within his own mind. But it's not just that this book does really well with. There is kind of that duality of forces that really questions what it means to be human. And as I stated before, being in a zombie apocalypse, there are things that people who wouldn't usually commit such acts when it comes to this descent of chaos. You have people who are going into things such as violence, doing betrayal, sexual perversions, things of that nature, as more of their way for them to do like kind of a defense mechanism of it. And I really did enjoy what this manga was able to explore in that terms of aspect, is what it means to be human, how important it is to keep our humanity during times like this. And I thought it did a wonderful job of really illustrating that. The manga finally also explores the idea of heroism in a world where the world has lost all forms of humanity and reasoning. So Hideo's journey of the traditional hero's arc is not typical. He doesn't really have strength, intelligence, and definitely doesn't have the courage. But his heroism is defined by his persistence to survive, his struggle to hold on to what makes him human. And that is something that does well, and you're going to love it. If you never read this book, you're definitely going to enjoy I Am a Hero. So, to wrap this up, why is I Am a Hero Essential Manga? Great art style, really complex, compelling characters, a really different take on the zombie apocalypse that really stands out today, and it has a major impact. When this came out, so many people, especially in the con community, especially in the anime otaku community, we were all reading this. You definitely should check out the manga, but there's also a live action film, which I did not check out, believe it or not, but I will check it out on the Imaginative Visions channel. So I'll be doing a breakdown on that analysis over there. And that's pretty much it. This has been episode 3 of Essential Manga. This is Justin. If you like what we do here on the Otaku and Geeks, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Helps out the channel tremendously. Really does, especially when it comes to watch hours. What did you think of I Am Hero? Are you a fan? Did you read the manga? What are your thoughts on this? What do you consider Essential Manga? Comment below. Let me know. I'll see what the comment section is, and I will feature it here on otakusangeeks.com. Peace, love, and happiness. We'll catch you on the next one later days.